Welcome to the RVA Returners Podcast, your newest source for all things Final Fantasy TCG. The Avalon was, it was just a really smooth ride. Steven kept falling asleep, and I think Curtis was falling asleep, but he did it in that weird way where he's like eyes open like a Vietnam vet.
PTSD kicked in.
Yeah, pretty much. Welcome to the RVA Returners Podcast. Guys, we are back for another episode.
Yeah, we made it back.
We're back.
You're back alive.
4. We're back alive. This is episode 4.
Yeah, I know.
We got a lot to talk about today. We got tournament results, boys.
Yeah, it's been a while since we've had those.
It has. I'm still riding the high from Ohio. It was a great time. And Drew, you had a hell of a time at the Battlegrounds tournament, the local. It's like you performed better than expected. And that brings us to Adam.
Ooh, boy, howdy.
Had a bad weekend of cards, it sounds like. But you know what? I say that as you're polishing that Kefka Cup trophy. So I think you're entitled to one for sure.
Yeah, it wasn't very good.
And that's what we're going to talk about here. So we're just going to dive right in, guys. We'll start with the local. You guys were there. I believe Matt Jordan was there. How many did you have?
Nine.
Okay, that's a decent turnout. I would have liked more. I know you guys would have liked more too. So that led to what? 3 rounds of Swiss?
3 rounds. Yeah, it was 3 rounds of Swiss. I think the Fredericksburg guys couldn't make it down. Mm-hmm. A couple people went to Ohio. The beach guys showed up.
3 of them.
Three people.
Awesome.
They bought a car up, and then Hunter and his buddy from North Carolina showed up.
Awesome.
So that rounded out the 9 people.
Well, it's good. It seemed like it was a quality 9 people. Because I'll tell you right now, I'll take a 10-man tournament with nothing but quality players than a 40-man tournament with people that don't know what they're doing. Just for the sake of having like good competition and trying decks out. You know what I mean? Don't get it wrong. I love a good sized tournament. I want as many people possible playing this game. But sometimes you want a field full of killers to see how good you really are.
That's true. That's true. I mean, everyone there was pretty decent level at the game.
Nice. I like that. So Adam, we'll start with you. What did you end up playing? And I see you rubbing your eyes. The headache has kicked in. What did you play? And how did it go?
Yeah. So I modified the Fire Earth deck and basically took out a ton of the fire cards and made it like more of like an Earth Fire Splash deck. Mm-hmm. Just running like Sabin and Birdman and Vivi, which pretty much like, and then I switched out the red mages for ninjas.
Sure.
Those are my only fire cards.
Yeah.
And then I ran a lot of like the really good new Earth stuff.
Sure.
Because that was the stuff that I wanted to try out first for sure. The problem was I think I was a bit too greedy making the list. A lot of stuff just kind of cost too much, and it made me have like really awkward hands a lot of the time. So I think I need to come back down the list. I also like last minute added like Kamlanat and Chaos and Zodiark just for like the fun Gabranth combo.
Sure. As
well as like just something that's good against mono decks. And I mean the one game that I got to play Kamlanat, he was really good against mono water, but then he garnered it a Chaos, and that kind of just blew me out. And then I got blown out by Mono Earth at the very beginning. So I only got to play 2 games because the third round of Swiss I got to buy. So I only got to play 2. Both were losses. And both of which I just didn't have like very strong hands. And I think that's partially due to how I built the deck, honestly. And I think it just wasn't built super well. Like, I mean, I had a game where I had to like turn 1 like Star Sybil, which was just terrible. Because I just had like no other. It was like a handful of summons and a Star Sybil and a Raubon.
Ouch.
Yeah. That was my second game, and then the first game I just didn't see a lot of early backups, and then I made one misplay with a Hecaton chair. I was miscalculating his power, so I mean, yeah, I didn't play good, and the deck didn't draw good, and I think the deck wasn't very good in general.
So do you think that deck has potential still, like the Earthfire combo, or do you think it's maybe a deck that's probably just best left in Opus 4?
I think I strayed too far from what made it good in Opus 4. Like, I think when we started taking the Kefkas out and trying to like neuter the whole 6 package, it just didn't feel as good. It didn't feel as like cohesive. So I think the original build might be better. And maybe you just add in a few cards instead of trying to go full ham, adding all the new stuff, which is kind of what I think I did.
Sure.
So I don't think it's terrible, but I think there's a lot of other things to look at in the set, and I think maybe Fire didn't get as much as maybe it should have. But, sure. I mean, there's still, it's not saying that Fire didn't get any new good cards.
Yeah, because I think Ninja's great, and I think Birdman's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, so maybe back to the drawing board with it for sure.
Oh, yeah, it's still together right now, but I don't think I'm going to be playing it anytime soon, at least not in the foreseeable future.
Sure, because you got to get ready for Boston.
Yeah.
Drew, we're coming to you now.
Let's do it.
You had a hell of a day of cards, it seems like.
I did. So I was intending on playing Wind. I pulled everything I needed. I pulled the Gistolas, I pulled the Adels, I pulled the new Diablos. So I was ready to play that. And then last second, I pulled the Chris Adams.
Ooh, the Chris Adams Audible.
Called an Audible, and I actually played my pet deck. I played the Twins deck that I've been working on with Adam, and it performed very well. First rounds, I played against Golbez. I actually lost that game, but I Leviathan Golbez 3 times, and he was able to replay it every single time. So I don't feel that bad about that loss. I mean, it just happened. He had enough lightning cards to be able to keep going. Second round, I played against the Mono Earth player that Adam lost to in round 1, and I just blew him out.
Nice.
I played the take a second turn guy, and I mean, with the Twins, it's guaranteed damage. So
sure,
you put him to 6, and then you take another turn, and it's over. So that's how I won that game. I mean, that was a pretty clean blowout.
Nice.
He had an Emperor early, which was really hard to deal with. So I just waited for my summons, and I just Bahamut'd him out.
No, there you go.
Yeah, just blew out after that. Third round was against a Wind Water deck, but it was running like a lot of like Chocobos.
Sure.
It's kind of
real
weird.
Fast, low to the ground kind of thing.
Yeah. So that gave me trouble a lot, actually. It put me on 5 really fast, but I just kind of stabilized. I play a 10K that never dies. And even
the revolving door is very strong.
The little guys just kind of got out blocked, even when he was party attacking and whatnot, because I didn't care because it was coming back to my hand. So that put me at X1, which put me in top 4. Then my first round top 4, I played the Golbez player again.
Oh, nice.
And I swept him 2-0. It was clean.
Nice.
I actually played the new Porum or Palom that everyone thinks sucks. And got like huge value out of him, but I still think the card's bad. But I did actually play it. But
nice.
The more I play the deck, those 1-drops, like he just couldn't deal with the pressure of the 1-drops bouncing back to my hands. Like he can't Hecaton chair me, and then like I can block a guy and use the water one to bring the 3-drop into play and bounce his Golbez. So like there's so much I can do with the deck. So yeah, I swept him out because obviously water against Golbez is just really nice.
Good. Yeah.
And then in the finals, I played against Hunter. Hunter was on Mono Ice.
Sure. That's kind of his favorite deck right now.
That matchup for Twins seems damn near unwinnable. He strips my hand, so I have no Twin cast. And he's also freezing my Twin, so even if I have it that turn, there's no way for me to Twin cast. There's no way for me to take my second turn and blow him out and like that way. So him just like Ice being able to strip my hand and also keep my guys dull. Like, there's just no way for me to. I tried to go like a more saving package there, but it still was just. I had no cards.
Fair. Yeah, Mono Ice definitely still really good, and that's something I expect to still see people play. Or how did he orphan you in it at all? Or orphan?
I never saw Orphan actually.
He definitely ran it. I know for sure he ran it.
Yeah, it was way heavy on discard though.
Sure.
He ran the new backup Edwards.
That card's good. Card's real good.
So that was stripping me. Flan was stripping me. Obviously Genesis Lock.
Oh yeah.
The whole 6 package was there.
Yeah, I think in that matchup, that's why like the Fasolia piece that we kind of took out of the deck. I think that's where it becomes good.
It would have been great there. Exactly. Yeah. I agree. Being able to like blow up a Genesis and
lock.
And then like Choo Choo Lane something else or something like that stuff would have been really nice.
I don't think you run Choo Choo Lane anymore. I think Bismarck is the king, but I think the Fasolia package helps you more against Ice. Yeah. Could be something to think about.
So yeah, Chris, I guess we go to Ohio. How was that?
Oh man, it was a great time. Had a great time. So it was me, Curtis Kang, and Steven Arboleta. Those 2 guys are from Fredericksburg. 3 of us went. The idea was going up that I was going to play Mono Earth. That's what I had been testing all week. I liked it.
And that's what we had all been talking about, basically.
Right, and as we were building the decks, it goes back to you playing the Fire Earth deck. We just kept stripping out Fire cards, and it was just like, man, Earth seemed, maybe Mono Earth is the way to go. So I thought about that. I played it. Took that, and I also took with me, because the biggest problem here was our product for Opus 5 was delayed. Our store got screwed by FedEx. So we were not able to get our shipment in time. So I was in a bind. So I had to make sure I had a backup deck ready because a lot of my Earth deck was Opus 5 cards. So what I did was I put together Fire Ice Final Fantasy 6. That only, as a backup, that only had 5 new cards in it. It ran 1 Light Vaughn, 2 Vermilion Bird, Birdman as we love to call him on this podcast, and 3 copies of New Mateus. So I was like, I can gather all that because I know we had a Vaughn. Adam pulled a Vaughn from his pre-release. I know we had at least 1 Birdman pulled from pre-release, and we definitely had the Mateus pulled from pre-release.
Yeah. And even if you want to go even further back to like the Richmond tournament, like we didn't get the product until like
it was like
the
9
night
p.m.
like really late the night before the tournament. So like I had to run up there, and the guy that runs the shop there had to run up to Fredericksburg.
Yeah, shout outs to Will Buckley for doing that.
Which is like, even with traffic, let's say it's like an hour and a half away.
Oh yeah. This is on a Friday, mind you, so
yeah.
I'm sure traffic was a lot more than an hour and a half.
Yeah, so he drove up and drove back down, and we had pre-ordered a case, and when he walked through the door, and I just saw like 1 box in his hand, and I was like, oh no. And so I went up and talked to him, and that's when he's like, oh no, we got you covered, don't worry. So like we were able to get our 2 boxes apiece, open and stuff up. We didn't get everything we wanted, but we got enough stuff, and pretty much a lot of the stuff that I could run the following day, and I knew I could borrow other cards from Drew and Matt. And then the next day, shout outs to the Sova dudes. Robert came up and he brought my stuff from the Kefka Cup.
That you won the box.
So I didn't even have to wait for it in the mail. He just brought that up.
So I was Pocket Games.
Yeah, so I was opening that up like right as like round 1 stuff is calling. I'm like opening my packs, trying to see if I get another wall.
That's fun.
But I ended up having to borrow a couple from Matt, and then I traded for 1 later on. But yeah, sorry to interrupt.
No, because it's very relevant. But also, thankfully, Curtis and Steven split a case, so they got stuff. So this is where I was getting weird. I was like, cool. Well, they got a case, and I need 1 wall. Surely they'll get 1. So I go up there. Curtis has opened his three boxes. Didn't get a single wall out of the 3 boxes. So I'm like, oh shit. This is becoming more and more less likely of me playing this deck. So I'm like, it's fine. I'll just keep the dream alive. But I've got Fire Ice, and at that point, I had everything I needed. The deck was complete, full 50. Bam, we're good to go. And I'm very comfortable with that deck. That's my favorite deck in the game. We're good. So we get up, we make the drive. It's an 8-hour drive from Fredericksburg. We get up there. Steven opens his 3 boxes. He gets 2 walls. No, sorry, he gets 3. He gets 2 regular and a foil. So we were like, yes, I can do it. But then as so we get up there, we're play testing. The tournament's not till Sunday. We get up there Friday. We're playing games. They were running Earth, Wind, very similar to the way my Mono Earth deck works, but they have they're using the new Asura. They're using the new I cannot remember this backup's name that makes Star Sybil cost 3.
It's like I don't remember.
It has the Archer on the card.
Yeah, not even. I've been calling it the new Archer. So they were playing that, and as we were testing, I felt that Mono Earth was just struggling. And I think it wasn't so much the deck. I think it was just my build. I fell into the Yang and Ursula trap, which those are trap cards. I'm sorry. I just don't think they're that good. Even now, I don't think they're that good. And as they were playing, they were like, man, this deck could really use wall, but they just didn't have any walls to put in the deck. So we were play testing. Then Saturday night, I was like, you know what? I'm draining myself on Mono Earth. Let me pull out Fire Ice. And I just proceed to send them both into just complete frustration, because it's like turn 1 Genesis, haste, swing. I'm just going too fast for that deck. They'll get a game in here or there, but I was just going too fast. And even when they're adjusting their play, a turn 1 Genesis, dulling and freezing whatever forward they get, then they still have to pitch, and now they're even in a worse position. So we were talking about it. I was like, man, this feels really good. And Curtis was like, dude, you should probably just play that. He's like, you got me on tilt right now. Even Steven was like, I can't stand you playing turn 1 Genesis because you seem to have it every game, or turn 1 lock. He's like, you're killing us. Please stop. So that means I was like, you know what, I'm gonna do it. So I call the famous Chris Adams Audible. I do it the night before. It's like, all right, cool. This is right before we enjoy our nice traditional pre-tournament steak and wine dinner. So we do that. And I make the commitment on doing it. So then we go back to the hotel and we start retooling their decks. Well, we have 4 walls in the room. So they both put 2 walls in their deck, which helps them. So we retool their deck with new Y'shtolas because they were having some issues. So we're all feeling good. We get a good night's sleep. We get up Sunday. We go to get breakfast. We go to the tournament. Really great tournament run by a really great group of guys. For anybody who hasn't had the pleasure of going to Game Swap up in Mason, Ohio, they run a fantastic operation, and I hope you guys listen to this and hear this. Keep it up. So they sit us down for pairings. They give us all this really cool like swag bag. It's like a nice like cloth tote bag with the Final Fantasy trading card game logo on it, and 4 packs of Opus 5 in it, and a Japanese Vincent promo signed by the creator. So just for showing up, that's more than $20 worth of value. So while we're waiting for them to finish the players meeting, I'm opening my packs. I pull another Vaughn right out of the first pack. Then I get a foil Adele, and I was like, wow, these are really good packs. So we go to the player meeting, first round pairing. I'm up against Mono Earth. I blow this guy out of the water. A, because I know the deck, and his build was very similar to mine. But by the time he knows what's going on, he's at 5 damage. I've got cards in his hand. I've got Genesis Lock, Birdman. I'm just stripping him dry. It was just he got 3 points of damage on me because he would be able to play a guy, and he would just swing after I swung out. So round 1, very clean. I win 7 points. He only did 3 on me. I did 7 to him, obviously, for the win. Round 2, I'm actually on stream. The stream was not set up yet because they were having technical difficulties. I'm playing against another Mono Earth deck. Almost card for card the same thing. Same thing happens. Except for in this case, I think he played turn 1 backup. I drop turn 1 Celis Haste Go. And then I'm just dropping guys. He drops a forward. I dull and freeze it with Genesis, and I'm hasting out Genesis. Like I'm just off to the races. He gets 4 points of damage on me. He almost gets close to catching up, but he's 2 mana short of a Shantoto because he has 5 backups out, and he has to pop a monk to get it off to play Shantoto. Well, popping the monk shorted his mana, so he can't play Shantoto. Yeah. Next turn, I just Shiva's board swing through. It's a wrap. So I win 7-4. Round 3, I'm playing against the Monster Mash deck, but except there's no Earth in this one. It's just wind, water, monsters. I don't have much experience against that deck, and he played it very well. I get blown out by an Ultima. But one of the problems I was having is I saw no fire cards until like turn 5, and it's a Vivi. I can't do anything with that. So I'm having to pretty much play a slow mono ice game at this point.
Yeah, I think the thing is like your stuff can't interact super well with a lot of the monsters.
I couldn't.
And you don't run Emperor or anything like that to shut him down, so he can kind of just like activate as he goes. So it makes your Shiva is less valuable because
it does.
Generally, you're only going to hit 1. Veil Force probably kind of crushing for you too.
It wasn't, and that's actually he won on a Veil 4, and that was fine. Like I said, he just outplayed me. I saw no fire cards, and I do honestly think if I could have gotten a hasty Genesis and lockout, stripping his hand would have hurt him. And because I had the Genesis and the lock, just never saw any fire cards. Now, granted, it's all woulda coulda. He played very very well. I mean, he was the top seed. This guy I lost to ended up being the top seed going into top 8. He went 5-1 in Swiss. So after round 3, I'm 2-1. I'm like, man, that was tough. But I keep going, and then I'm back on stream for round 4. You can actually find the match in their archives. I'm playing against Mono Water. I proceed to just roll over this deck too. I think Mono Water actually ends up being one of my better matchups, and not because the deck can't win. I think what happens is when you get these hasters out and you get them out early, it becomes an issue of the player. They start panicking. They're on the back foot. There's a lot of pressure coming, and I feel like they just don't know how to play the water deck other than playing backups and then playing guys. He only did 1 point of damage to me. Vayne was a big part of that matchup, keeping his Steiner tap, hasting out Genesis again. I never looked back. Yeah. And Mateus was huge in that match for me too.
Yeah, Mateus can be a blowout for sure, especially when you're looking down like a lot of big stuff and they're scared to block your smaller stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think like what you said is like people are afraid to change like the way they play, and you have to, because decks can dictate like how fast you play this game.
Yep.
And typically, Water wants to play slow, like they want to build their backup line. Lightning wants to play slow, they want to build their backup line, and then just shoot you down with like Alcid and stuff like that. But they want to get like their backups first, so that they can start getting more value out of their cards instead of pitching like everything. So when you're on the other side and you're just like turn 1, pitch 3 for Vaughn, Sage, and swing, they're not ready for that. And, even though you don't have a hand now, you got this guy that's getting you value every turn, and they have to immediately deal with him.
Yep, and a lot of times they don't want to spin the cards. They don't want to Leviathan it at the beginning of the game because they're afraid to pitch the cards and what they don't say anything. At least for now.
Yeah.
Foreshadowing.
Yeah, so you have to kind of react to your opponent playing that way, and maybe like change it up. Maybe take the first point of damage and play a backup, and then the next turn drop your Ash or your Cognazzo to try to prevent further damage, and try to play more reactive until you can turn that corner. Because decks like that, you have to turn the corner on. Like you have to, you're gonna take damage, and there's nothing you can do about it. Like Fire Ice, at least that build of Fire Ice, which is probably the best build right now. It's gonna hit you. Like you're not gonna come away clean against that deck. It's not gonna happen.
No way.
And it hits you fast.
They got so many ways to make where you can't block, where they're coming out fast, and I mean, they're stripping your hand. They're doing a lot.
And then the threat of Mateus now. I'm gonna tell you right now, I got so much value out of just swinging with Sid Reigns to see if they would block me. Yeah. Because and what sucks is it's one of those mind game plays where it's like I'm swinging with him. Yep. Do I have the Mateus or not? If I'm swinging with a 2-mana 5K, you gotta believe I've got it in my hand. But there were times when I didn't. Yep. But they didn't know that.
I think big examples of that card and the new Bismarck are like just cards where you're just like you're so scared of it now that like now I'm just gonna start pretending like I have it. Yeah. They're gonna be like major bluff cards. Oh yeah. Because now you're just like the other player, assuming the other player is intelligent enough to understand like what cards like what's in the meta. And they're playing against water, or they're playing against ice, and they see what you're doing with these underpowered forwards. They have to assume they're like, oh shit, okay, he's either bluffing a Mateus or he's got a Mateus. So it becomes, Sid Reigns becomes a super relevant forward because now do you want to die to that 5K?
Yep. Do you want to lose your
10K,
your 10K yang to Sid Reigns?
Yeah, probably not, right?
Yeah. So mono water, I rolled over that. Again, great. I don't want to sound like I'm being cocky or anything because everybody was really really awesome, really great people. I think I just made the right call for the day, because then round 5, I'm sitting at this is round 5. I'm sitting at 3-1. I sit across from I can't remember. I believe his name was maybe Channing, I believe, but he was also a top 4.
The water guy.
Yeah, he made it to top 4. So we're sitting down, and the guy next to him on the table is the guy, my round 1 opponent, which is good for him. He was able to crawl his way back up. He looks at, sees me, sees that his friend's playing. He's like, "Yo, be careful. I'm not gonna tell you what he's playing, but his deck's fast." So, what do? He plays turn 1 backup. I believe I go Celis freeze the backup. Hey, swing. Then he plays Cognazzo. I drop Birdman. I swing. If he blocks with Cognazzo, Cognazzo still dies because I'm a 9K. So he doesn't block. Then I get through with Celis because he's afraid to block. He's afraid I have Mateus. Then next turn, I believe he plays another backup. Then he swings with Cognazzo, which that's how you know you're in a bad spot when you're swinging with Cognazzo. So I take my one and only point of damage of the game. I'm swinging again. He drops Cecil. I love that. Swing Birdman into Cecil. Like I had him on the back foot so fast. And the game was over. All of my games were over very quickly. Even the one that I lost, it was over very quickly. Just because I got blown out. So that game's over. I'm 2-0 versus Mono Earth and 2-0 versus Mono Water at this point. So I feel like I definitely made the right call with and I guess because I'm still new to this game. I came in at Opus 4. I guess mono decks are the popular thing when a new meta pops up because it's safe.
I feel like that's got to be like most games, right? I mean, I'm not super familiar with Magic, but
not necessarily. But even in versus, mono teams were the way to go when a new set came out.
Magic's like the conundrum because a lot of times the set is geared around let's say the clans block.
Oh yeah.
Like they wanted you to play 3 colors, so 3-color decks were really good.
Yeah, the Magic sets dictate what they want you to play more or less.
Well, it's just because in this game because you're pitching to play mana and stuff, and that's the only way to get screwed, I guess. Because you have that mono deck, that's never gonna happen to you. You're always gonna have the right mana that you need.
Yeah, for sure.
And then also a lot of the deck, the stuff just kind of buffs each other. You got the anthems, you got the new RVA, you got Waka, all that stuff. So it just it kind of just meshed together more. Whereas you have to really explore more to make the multi-element decks.
Sure.
It takes a lot more thought process. A lot of the other stuff just kind of works.
Yeah, because you just have to worry about it. Yeah. So then they post the standings going into the last round. I'm in second place at 4-1. The guy above me is 5-0. Then me. Then another. There's like three, 4-1 X and ones at that point or something like that. So last round, I'm playing against someone who has now become one of the best friends of the RVA Returner podcast. That is Sean Plowman, great guy. He actually he just put an article up today about his match, and shout outs to him for the shout outs to me. He was my most memorable opponent of the day.
I really liked his deck too.
His deck is excellent.
Yeah.
I think if I was gonna play something that was not Fire Ice, it would be that, because it lets me play 12 cards, and if I can't play 6 cards, god damn it, I want to play 12 cards. So, and I thought his deck was really good. It was very similar to mine. It was Fire Water aggro with Sages and Vaughn and stuff like that. The only difference is he has bounce effects and power reduction, whereas I have dull and freeze effects. So we play. We're having a bit of a slobber knocker, man. We're going back and forth. He's able to turn the corner because he sees Vaughn before I do. So Vaughn's just stopping me cold. But now I'm at a point where, okay, so I have 2 lines here. I draw the Vayne. I was like, cool, I can play Vayne, keep Vaughn dull, or I can go to combat first, swing with Celis, put 4K on Vaughn, devout a Sid Reigns back in to finish the job. Well, I don't pick a bad line, because both of the lines were sound, very good. But I picked the wrong one. I play the Vayne. Then I swing with Celis, put 4K on him. The damage flips over Leviathan. Vayne goes back to my hand. I don't have the mana to play him again. He readies. He swings through with Vaughn, and Celis and Setzer are my only forwards. Well, guess what? We're dulling one can't block. Well, he makes Celis can't block just in case I have Runic or something, or a way to activate her, and I think he makes Setzer unable to block. So he swings through. It ends up being 7 damage to 5. So again, it was a slobber knocker, and he just got there. So here I am, again, sitting at 4-2, going into top 8 cut. So I'm legitimately worried that I'm going to be on the bubble again and not make top 8, just like ARG Charlotte. So I'm like sweating it again. I was like, man, I'm ranked 2nd. When you see all the tiebreakers, I'm like, okay, I have the least amount of damage done to me by far. The whole day I'd only taken 15 damage.
I remember when you messaged me on Facebook.
Yeah.
And you were like, because we have like a chat and we're talking and like, telling you like, hey, good job, keep it up, And when you told me like all your tiebreakers and stuff, and I was like, Chris, it's like you're gonna make it in.
You're in, yeah.
I was like, and were you the 6th or the 7th?
I was the 6th.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I even said like, I was like, Chris, you're gonna make it in, and judging on what you're thinking, I bet you're 5 or 6. Yeah. Is what I told you. And then you sent the screenshot, which.
But then what happened was, so they do the top 8 announcement, and they call. I know I'm not like in the top 4 because there was 4 X and 1s at that point. So then like they call the 5th, and I'm like, oh shit. Then they finally called me. I'm like, thank God I made it. But the 3rd seed was Sean Plowman again. So I had to play the exact same deck I just played in my last round in our top 8 match. So we play this match on stream. We both play that first game kind of like careful stepping. We both like build backups. And you can find this entire top 8 set on the Top Deck Productions Twitch channel. So I take game 1, a very slow and steady game 1, but I turn the corner first. I get Vaughn. I stop his guys because he gets Ash out, like he gets the big bodies out. But I'm able to do some like plays with VV. I really utilize the ping effects that are in my deck, the Irvins, the Black Waltzes, the Furions. Like I put more stock into that this time because I know what his deck is capable of. I get Vaughn. I make Ash can't block. I win game 1. Game 2, he just blows me out. I just get dumpstered game 2. It wasn't even close. It just wasn't even close. He goes wide. Game 2 was where I discovered he was running Phoenix. I didn't know Phoenix was in the deck.
Okay, I thought maybe you had seen it before.
No. That's the first time I had seen Phoenix. I was like, oh shit. Yeah, that's a good card.
Yeah, good card.
Yeah. So he blows me out with that, gets like a VV back. He just murders me. Like that deck, when that deck's firing on all cylinders, it gets there. Really, really good stuff.
Game 3 was the infamous game.
Game 3 was the game that, and also by the way, we had Team Steve on commentary. Steve Arboleta, and Steve, he was part of the FF Dex team that was there. Really nice guy. great guys, and they did the commentary for a lot of the top 8, except for the finals because we had to hit the road at that point. But so they were commentating the match, and so game 3, I'm on the play. I get real greedy. I just get like this smile on my face, and I'm like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm doing it. So pitch for Vaughn, play Vaughn, pitch for a hasty stage, swing with Vaughn. He's like, whoa, 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 slide out of the saddle there, mister. I'm thinking, oh shit, he's got Bahamut or Phoenix, and he's just going to blow me out. Well, it's neither of those, but it is a Leviathan. Yeah. And I'm thinking, so he goes back to my hand, and like later on I'm like, man, of all the things you could have had in your hand, and you can hear me saying it on stream, I'm glad it was the Leviathan. So what do? I start having, I'm like, well, let me slow down here, because now he's playing slow again too. So I play slow. I start playing backups. I'm able to get, and the commentators think I'm getting ready to play Vaughn again. Oh no, I drop Setzer. I start playing like the FF6 deck, So I start slowing it down. Then, we're kind of trading blows back and forth. I get up to 6, and he's at like 4 or 5. But when it comes down to the end, like I'm peeling like I'm drawing. Like I need. In my mind, I'm not even thinking about the card that I get to win. I'm thinking about just getting a Shiva to keep Vaughn from attacking again. So I'm able to play some 4s. I don't remember exactly. You can watch the stream to see. So I have some forwards out. I'm able to play my Vaughn. I swing with Vaughn, and I draw a card and ready a backup. Because I've got, I need, and I have the Belias in my hand to haste him. So I draw the card, and I have the backup, just the ice backup in case I draw the Shiva. So, but from the Belias before that, I draw a Vayne, and I'm like, oh shit, that's the card I need to play. The card that lost me the game, because I think he only had 1 or 2 Bahamuts in the deck, and one of them was flipped for damage. I think the other one was in the graveyard, and I think Phoenix was in the graveyard as well. Like the summons that could get rid of him were gone. I want to say even the Leviathans were gone at that point. So I drop Vayne. I am able to still keep the backup up because he doesn't know if I've got the Shiva or not. Well, turns out the Vayne that lost me the game and won me game 3. I'm having a terrible time telling the story because it was so fast and it was so crazy. But man, I went from a real nutty, just real greedy opener to having to really slow down and play some really smart turns there at the end. I was able to pull out the top 8 game. Man, hell of a match. Sean had played a hell of a deck and had a hell of a day of cards. It was probably the greatest game of Final Fantasy that I've ever been a part of since I've started playing. And it was just a great time. But then right after that, I had to go right into my top 4 match against, I believe his name was Corey. He's the guy who eventually won the other Mono Earth player. Yeah. And I'm thinking, cool, another Mono Earth deck. I should be okay given how the day has gone so far. So I wasn't a little cocky. I wasn't cocky, but I was feeling good going into it. Well, his Mono Earth deck was different from the other ones. Completely different. Like, no Yang, no Ursula. He just dropped big, stupid dudes. He Ceciled me a couple times. That was the day that I learned that card is stupid.
Yeah. The more I've seen it, I thought it was okay, and now the more I've seen it, holy cow, that card is really good.
Yeah, but he beat me 2 games to nothing. Game 1, he ran over me. Game 2, I was putting up a much better. I had him at 6. I just had to push 1 point of damage through. But what comes through it there at the end when he needed it the most? All 3 copies of Cockatrice. And he used them to keep Locke from attacking, to keep this guy from attacking, to keep this guy from attacking. And that was enough for him to turn the corner. And it was rough. It was rough.
Was it 3 in 1 turn?
It was 2 in 1 turn, I believe. But they all came there at the very end. And I was like, shit. Man, that was rough. Yeah, I mean, that was very, very rough.
That's why you run 3.
Yeah.
I agree.
I mean, it sucks. It sucks to be on the receiving end, but it's definitely why you run 3.
Yeah, so the journey came to an end at top 4. Had a hell of a day of cards.
Yeah, played real good.
And I think the deck worked very, very well. And I have to say this. Now as I'm watching. We're sitting here. It's Saturday. The 31st. I had to look at the TV again. We're watching the Cards of Evil East tournament right now, and I'm seeing somebody play Fire Ice with, I think, a card that came on my radar after, and I think I want to replace some of the ping in the deck with it, and that's Tella.
Yeah, I mean that's a good segue. So let's talk about cards you think overperform.
Yes, cards. Yeah, cards this weekend. After seeing an initial glimpse and tournament glimpse of Opus 5, what cards do we think we maybe overrated or were overrated, and what cards do we think that were kind of like, this is fine, or what cards that people were just like, this card's trash, but have turned out to just really be just an ungodly ass beater? We'll start with you, Adam. Start with overrated, good, and underrated, or overrated as expected, underrated.
Yeah, overrated for me. There's a few Earth cards that feel like we thought were better, like not as good as they actually are, better than they actually are. Mamodi is one, I think.
Sure.
We were really high on that. I was like, free Brave? It's got to be good, right? Turns out Earth doesn't really need it. You got Wool. That's good enough. I think Mog is a really good card, but I do think we overrated it just a tiny bit.
Yes.
But I do think it's really good. Like I think it's still going to be a staple card. I think it's still really good. I just think it's not like this 3 of got to push it in the deck that we thought it was going to be. Maybe Minor falls in that too, but I still think that card's insane.
Yeah.
And then you said the second one was overrated, or?
We'll go as expected. Do you think what cards do you think perform maybe as expected?
Birdman, I think, is one. I think he's just a good card. He's strong. He does what you want it to do. He's scary.
Yep.
Trying to think of what's another card that we thought was really good. That's still good. I mean, I guess Minor falls into there too.
Sure.
And then for underrated, I think it's tough.
Because there's a lot of cards that I think that we've come across that when we did our initial review on episode 2, that it was maybe not. Maybe we were like, this card's good, but maybe not. So I think there's just a few cards. I think maybe Bismarck ended up being one of them. I don't remember.
I don't think we really rated Bismarck because we didn't see it till the set came out.
Yeah.
And I think as soon as I saw it, I was like, this card is good. Maybe I underrated that card a little bit because I think it's absolutely bonkers insane.
No, for sure.
Or Doom Train.
Maybe Mateus was a tad overhyped, but I still think that card's also really good as well. So what are y'all's?
Well, as far as cards that I think are overrated, I'm going to 100% agree with Mamodi. I think the card's fine. I think, man, that's tough because I do think, that's really, really hard because Mamodi's the one that really comes to mind that I see. That I think we all are in agreement on there. Trying to think.
Oh, I guess another one that we kind of overrated too, Diabolos.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
Diabolos is definitely one.
The more I play that, the worse. The worse it feels.
For sure.
I mean, definitely a card that I think I have a feeling we think we underrated for sure. Adele.
I think Adele's very underrated.
That card is crazy good.
I think Wool is definitely as expected.
Yeah.
I think Wool is a card.
He's as good as we thought he was.
Wool is insane, and he is every bit as good as expected. The fact that he just gets instant value.
Yeah, I'm still on the fence with Vaughn.
I personally, just from my personal experience this weekend, and I've said it before, Vaughn is a double-graded card. By himself, he is a C+ legendary at best. Give him haste, that guy turns into a fucking A+ immediately.
But if you think about it with haste, that's basically a 7-mana card.
Oh, for sure, absolutely.
Essentially. And at that point, he better be doing some good stuff.
He does, though.
I think, like I said, I think
he's right in the middle there. I think he's as good as we thought he was.
I still think he's a bit too slow, but I think if you get him in a deck where he functions, you're going to feel it.
Another card I thought that I watched perform a lot better, and we didn't really talk about it as much, is the new Cloud of Darkness. That card is bonkers.
Oh, I know a card we underrated the hell out of. The New Yang.
Oh, New Yang is busted bonkers good. Yeah. That card is dumb.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not going to lie, I looked at that card, and we were still kind of on the Yang Ursula train at the time.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, maybe you play one of them, because you would rather play this Yang and a free Ursula, and they're buffing each other, and it's great. And I was like, this guy's just good against ice. And then I realized, you're just playing an 11K.
A big fat dude.
That's brave and can't be dulled.
Yep. And he just sits there leaning back on his card, giving you the mean mugs. And since we're talking about Earth cards that I think are underrated, New Cecil.
Yeah.
That card is the truth. That guy, and we got more, and I kind of proved that a little bit more because I have retooled my Mono Earth deck with the better card. So I took out the Yang Ursula Trap. I put in 3 Cecils. And if you are not 2 for 1-ing or 3 for 1-ing with Cecil, every time you're playing the card wrong. That guy just wipes a board when he comes in. And yeah, you'll take some damage, but that's why he's a great, like, I'm at 3 damage, I'm at 2 damage. Cool. Let's go to work. You drop him, boom, you kill that 3 drop, stack that ability, S ability, take a point of damage. We're going to kill that 4 drop. You know what, we'll do it again. We'll kill that one. Cecil comes into play. I'm at 5, and if, I put Gabranth back in the deck, so with Gabranth out, you just negate one of those points of damage. So the card is really, really good. And the fact that he's EX Burst can really like stop some things cold for sure. So I think that's my pick for most undervalued card. Also, Gravitron.
Yeah, that's definitely one we underrated, 100%.
And it turns out like the Earth cards we were overrating. You know, like not as good as we thought, and the ones that we just kind of glazed over are turning out better. Gravitron is just an insane card. The fact that, you know, in Mono Earth, you can search them out with Star Sybil.
Yep.
And every time you play an Earth Summon, you choose a forward and they get plus 2k.
It's
so
crazy.
Pretty much every time you Hecaton chair, you're Hecaton chairing with an extra 2k.
Yeah.
Which is really, really good. And it's just a 3-mana backup. So I think, and that's what I did. I actually took out Momodi for Gravitron in my Earth deck.
Yeah, I think it's better.
Yeah, it's much better, I think.
So I guess segueing into that, let's talk about like what we think the meta is going to be like going forward, based on like what you saw in Ohio and like what we're seeing kind of in other places as well.
I think the number 1 deck you'll see, if it's not Mono Earth, which I think is just an easy deck to pilot.
It is.
It's safe. I think that's why a lot of people are running right now. It's Mono Water.
Mono Water is really, really good with new Refia. And I'll say this too. I think all of the Warrior Lights are fine. Luneth is probably the least valuable, but I think Ingus is good. I think Refia is
insane.
Stupid. And I think even Arc is excellent. I think the 3 of the 4 are fantastic, especially when you were not to switch gears again, but in the Earth deck I'm running, I run Light Warrior of Light, Wall, and Ingus. You get that board out, man, people are going to have a really hard time because your guys are big and they're taking 2k.
And water can do something very similar too, which we could get into.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
But yeah, I think mono decks are kind of on that rise right now for sure, just because it's kind of obvious like what you want to be doing with them, and you just kind of slot cards in there. And so definitely, Mono Earth seems to be popular right now just because, like you said, you're just playing big dudes, and the dudes kind of like make other dudes bigger.
And they play themselves almost.
And then you're just kind of winning in combat because you're big, and then you have ways to do combat tricks with like Hecaton Chair and Cockatrice and stuff like that.
That's a card, yeah.
Then you have Mono Water, which I think the only weakness of Mono Water is that it kind of has to go a little wide. So then Shantoto kind of messes with that. So you got kind of like this circle where like a lot of the decks that are good like kind of beat the other decks. So I mean, Water is good too though. New Cloud of Darkness, new Refia, Bismarck is an insane card.
But I think the biggest thing that makes that deck over the top, it's a lowly little starter card by the name of Wrestler.
Yep.
Yeah, old Ash is insane.
She is a problem.
With all the new cards they printed for the Ash they printed, that sucks.
Yeah. So, that combo is really good now, and then you got Vossler makes cheaper, so then you got that whole thing going on with, like, with Earth, except you're doing, like, Ash, Vossler, and then maybe you have Warrior of Light and Refia as well in that deck, which...
Uzma or whatever, that card's crazy.
Oh, Ozma, the water monster?
Yep.
That guy's good.
A 0 cost become a forward is...
Yep, that has a blowout ability.
Then you got Mono Ice, still strong.
Still good.
Yeah, Mono Ice, I think, is as expected. Yeah. That deck just got better.
Yeah, then you got, so then I added cards like Mateus, like Doom Train, like Orphan.
I believe Doom Train is another one that I'm glad we're talking about these more cards because it's jogging our memory a little bit. Doom Train is much better than initially reviewed.
Yeah, I thought so too. I was a little underwhelmed by it too, and I was like really high on Diabolos, and I was like, oh, Doom Train seems okay.
And they've kind of swapped.
Yeah, but now that's definitely swapped.
I think Doom Train is the best card that's like choose 2 or 4.
I think it might be too.
I think so.
Yeah. Only for counting summons, because I think the best choose 2 or 4 is probably Wool.
Yeah.
He comes with an 8k body.
Yeah, he comes with an 8k body that says your EX burst and damage don't mean shit anymore.
Yeah, and then on top of that, you got Mateus as well.
Yes.
Orphan is insane. Once you drop him, like every game I've played with Mono Ice, if I played that card and I got both, like if I had 5 characters and that ability went on.
Spoiler alert, you will.
You always do.
I think I've won every game I've done that.
Yep.
Which
Orphan is a
I
closer.
think is crazy. I mean, I'll pay 6 mana to win the game. Thanks.
Oh yeah, get that man a cup of coffee because he's a closer.
Yeah, for sure. And then the last deck, which is definitely not the least, like not the worst deck or anything, which is Mono Lightning.
Mm-hmm.
Still really good. Halcid, still good. Shocker.
Turns out.
Ilua is crazy.
Mm-hmm.
New Zemus is crazy.
Bronzo.
They have a monster that's good now. You got the Bunker Beast or whatever.
Yep.
You got a new backup in Cannoneer that's crazy good. You got Twilight Odin is really good, which like activates Opus 4 Lightning.
Mm-hmm.
So that's got a lot of new things going on, and it's still really, really strong. So I think the mono decks are becoming a lot tighter and a lot harder to build.
They are because
yeah.
they're not as brainless anymore. You have to really think about like go back to mono water. I think Big Cecil's out. I think Big.
Yeah, I don't think you're right.
I don't think he makes the cut anymore because of Cloud of Darkness and Ozma. I think they're just better cards in that slot.
Yeah, I don't think you run him either. I think he's just excessive.
Yes.
Now that you have Refia, and especially if you're running like the Warrior of Light package.
Yeah, you're big enough.
Yeah, so like I think mono decks are kind of like king right now. So I'm kind of interested to see what dual color stuff people start playing. Windwater Monster still seems good.
Oh, absolutely. Because I think Death Gaze is a big part of that. Because right now, like as I like to call it, the game, like the decks are coming more battle cruisery. They are using bigger guys. Death Gaze says, I don't give a shit how big your guys are. I'm still swinging, and there's nothing you can do about it. Like monster decks are still really, really good.
Yeah, they're still hard to interact with. They didn't print a whole lot of cards to mess with them.
I'm surprised we're not seeing more standard unit stuff. Like, no one seems to really be playing it right now. I think it's still... There's no way it's bad.
Yeah, I think Windwater standard units is still good. I think the mono water standard units with the little guys that party attack and draw a bunch of cards, especially when you run, like, New Leviathan, and the fact that the deck can rebuild so fast after... I think that deck is good, and you get a lot of Cognazo value, because if you have a wide board like that when you Cognazo, man, they're in for a bad time. I think obviously Fire Ice is good. I still think I think Opus 5 had a little bit of impact because I think Birdman is an immediate 2 of in that deck. Mateus is great in that deck, and turns out Vaughn is like a 1 or 2 of I think is great in that deck. So you're still getting the real fast value that you get out of this that you've gotten out of the 6 cards since Opus 4, but now you just have more tools. So I think that deck is still really, really good.
Yeah, so I mean, I think it's going to be really hard to gauge what's good. I mean, we know like what people are playing right now.
So now I'm actually kind of excited. I really want to try Tella in the deck now. Nutella, who I think is, not to be confused with the hazelnut spread Nutella. We're talking about the Nutella. That guy, I think that guy adds, because I think what the Fire Ice deck is missing is like legit removal. I think Tella now gives that deck legit removal. And it gives it a backup that breaks itself.
Yeah, a card that you've already added in there, too, that I don't think you mentioned is Phoenix, right?
No, I actually skipped on the Phoenix, and I kept the 2 Belias. I cut 1 Shiva for 1 Doom Train.
That's a card we underrated as well.
Phoenix is.
Phoenix.
Especially now, you've now put it in your Twin Cast deck.
In the Twin deck, it's insane.
Oh, yeah, because now you get all the...
You either get 8K in a Leviathan, or 8K plus 6K, or 8K in a VV, like...
Yeah, being able to...
The Phoenix is crazy.
Yeah, being able to get back the twins that have the ability when they don't come from the hand, seems really, really good.
Yeah, for sure. So, I guess that leads into, like, what do we expect again Boston to run into, really?
Water,
I think. You think those decks are basically...
I think we're going to see a lot of what we saw in Ohio, or what I saw in Ohio. You're going to see a lot of Mono Earth, a lot of Mono Fire. I thought not Mono Fire, sorry. Mono Water. No, you're going to see 0 Mono Fire unless someone's really, really ballsy. I do think you're going to see a lot of Mono Ice. I do think you're going to see some Fire Ice. I think you're going to see some Water Fire. I think you're going to see some Moogles. I think Ice Water Moogles is good enough. I think it's good
enough.
And
a lot of people want to play it.
And yes. I think I said this on one of the review videos. It's like Sarah only needs a few Moogles to really give value. Like 2 to 3 good Moogles that are in your deck, you're fine. Like that's still fodder for her ability to duel things. That's still something she can search. And then a lot of those Moogles do other things like once they're actually out, so you can get that value train going. So yeah, I mean, I think it could be a very real deck. I think Knights can be a very real deck as well.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I think Knights, and we just recorded a video earlier today where you were playing the Water Lightning Knights, and I was playing, I'm calling it 4-color Warrior of Lights because it's primarily Earth Water, but you're running Arc and Lunith. And really you're just trying to cheat them into play with Earth cards, or if you land Cosmos, you can play them naturally. So you've got a lot of options. I think it's going to need a lot of work, but, you know, I think it's got something.
Yeah, so I think we're pretty much expecting about that same stuff, and
yeah,
I'm looking forward to see what people try to bring.
Yeah, I agree. I think you're going to see a lot of... you're going to see a lot of the same, a lot of safe stuff, because I just think these big tournaments are coming. I mean, this will be 3, because you had Petite Cup, you got the Cards of Evil East tournament. The next week you have the Crystal Cup. That's 3 big tournaments back to back to back.
Not a lot of time to test.
There's not a lot of time to test, and you know everybody's just kind of looking to see what came out of this tournament. All right, what's coming out of this? So now, you know, depending on what the top 8 is at the Cards of Evil East tournament, that could be a completely different top 8 from what was in Ohio. So now shit gets really skewed, and the meta gets really diverse.
Yep.
But I think when that happens, it just puts everyone back on mono decks because they're so safe. And this is a card we didn't touch on before in the review or anything. That makes Kamlanot really good.
Yo, yeah, I think Kamlanot is a card that is much better than advertised. The fact that he can get, he can get any dark card, which means he can get Emperor, he can get Time Walk Guy, he can get Backup Zemus, he can get Chaos. You're going to start seeing that guy in some really neat decks, because the fact that he doesn't stay dark after the first turn.
Yeah, it's really good.
I mean, if you're facing Mono Lightning, you just play him. The next main you get, you declare Lightning, and they can't do anything.
The only thing at that point, they have to have Exodus in their deck, and that's it. That's it.
Yep.
I mean, he does very well against any mono deck.
Yeah, for sure. I think
he's a good card.
So I guess with that said, so we'll be heading up to Boston in a few days.
Yeah, Crystal Cup. We're leaving Thursday to head up there. We're going to be doing our next episode up in Boston. So anybody who is there and wants to come by and say hi and maybe talk a little bit, talk about what their experience with Opus 5 has been. Maybe what they're playing in the tournament, maybe what they're playing in some side events, what they're doing. Please, the more people that come by, the merrier. We would love to have people on our podcast. I'd like to meet people from the communities in that area. That's the one thing I can honestly say about this game so far. There is zero toxicity in this community. Now, granted, yes, it's a little bit. Oh, not probably. It 100% is a lot smaller than a larger, like Magic, for instance, where the fact that that game's been around for so long and it's so large, there's just the toxicity is there innately.
Yeah.
But, I've just had such a great time playing this game. Met some really great people, and I can't wait to keep that train rolling for sure.
Yeah, for sure. I'm looking forward to it. I hope it sells out. I don't think it's sold out. So if you want to go, there's still tickets available.
Yeah, strike while the iron's hot.
Go, because I think it's going to be an awesome tournament. I'm looking forward to competing in my first official Square tournament, and hopefully one of us can.
Yeah,
make it out
because we want to make top 4. Because top 4 qualifies you for what, nationals?
Correct. Yeah, ideally both of us make top 4. That'd be great.
Oh, that'd be even better.
But yeah, top 4 will get you qualified for nationals. I think a win gets you a guaranteed bye.
I thought a win gets you 3 buys.
Oh, is it 3 buys?
I think it's 3 buys.
That sounds insane.
I thought it was they just hand you the fucking tournament if you win.
I thought it was just 1 buy. But maybe, yeah, I'm not sure. And then I think you also get a playset of Opus 5.
No, that's even better.
I think you get a foil of each card if you win.
So it's almost like another Karate Kid 3 scenario. You only have to play in the finals, I guess. Is that what happens?
Sweep the leg.
Yeah. So I think that's gonna be it for today. So remember, if you wanna follow us on the website and hit me up on Twitter at Kronos411, ask us some questions so we can maybe start getting some Q&As in there. And definitely look at our YouTube. We've been making a pretty good amount of content, and I'm definitely looking forward to making a lot more.
Yeah, a lot of new stuff coming down the pipe. Set reviews will be finishing up. We're going to be doing starting our battle arena. Like I mentioned earlier, that's going to be a lot of fun. If there's any decks you'd like to see us play, ship us a list or ship us a few cards you'd like to see us build around. We'll give it a shot.
Yeah, for sure.
And we're going to be doing deck techs on the website as well, just like instant deck. We're calling them Blitz techs.
Blitz TM.
Trademarked by RVA returners.
We'll see that. But I think that's the idea right now.
Yeah, so we got a lot coming down the pipe, and we do appreciate all the follows and the likes and the not so much and the subscribes. We take all the love where we can get it. So with that being said, guys, we are signing off, and until next time, see you in Boston.
See you in Boston.
Take it easy.